Sean Payton, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. What's with this Saints Happy podcast? This has to be the worst Saints podcast in the world. Ralph can't say anyone's name right. Andrew doesn't know football. Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave. And is Kevin even there tonight? The audio with this podcast, my God, the audio, it's painful.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. We have a tremendous show for you tonight. It's draft week. We are going to break down the Saints draft in every possible way. Thomas has got great graphics. We are going to do it to the nines. It is going to be amazing. Draft start to finish. There's no other Saints news really to talk about. Oh.
Yes, there is.
What else? What other
Marsh-
news was there that the
There's
Saints
Marsh-
did?
There's Marshawn Lattimore news.
Shooting your dick off.
Oh, yeah. Marshawn Lattimore shooting his dick off.
That's right.
By the way, find us on the YouTubes and wherever you get your podcasts, and we appreciate you.
Let's
yes.
talk about it. Let's talk about Marshawn Lattimore shooting his dick off. Or almost shooting his dick off. My first there it is. My first, I don't know if Thomas put it together, but like my first reaction is obviously like it's from like A Christmas Story, and he says, "I want the official Red Ryder BB gun, blah, 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 with bolt action, blah blah blah. You'll shoot your dick off." Santa's just saying, "You'll shoot your dick off." I mean, he's honestly like, I mean, the cops kept saying it smelled like weed. I don't think he was charged with drug possession or anything like that.
Oh, allegedly.
So
highlight of the Saints off season so far: Marshawn Lattimore almost shooting his dick off. Andrew,
sorry, moment of the offseason. Is that what you said?
Yeah, highlight of the off season so far.
I mean, I don't know. We franchise tagged a guy. That's kind of significant.
I mean,
what?
No,
oh my God, Dave! What is going on in your drink?
This is way more fun. This is a painkiller. I'm almost done. You missed it because you were late. But I had it all garnished.
What's going on in there?
It was a
dedicated to Joe Vitt.
So what's in there besides a slice of orange? What's in there?
Oh well, this is my garnish.
You got like a piece of kale in there.
It's mint. Excuse you, it's mint. But it's a painkiller. This is rum and orange juice and pineapple juice and coconut. So anyway,
and crushed up Vicodin.
That's right.
Crushed up Vicodin, yeah.
Let's get back to the subject. So I mean, I feel like I feel like the cops were pretty good with them, and I feel like they might have gotten off lighter than maybe they could have. I don't know. That's my.
I feel like
the cops could have come down. They could have given them a much harder time. They could have given them a harder time.
Those cops were Saints fans. Because
obviously he saved Marshawn Lattimore's penis. I mean,
he saved Marshawn Lattimore's penis. Here's the thing. I know they were Saints fans because they remembered, Andrew, the dark times of B.W. Webb at corner and Stanley Jean-Baptiste. Yeah, Brandon Browner. They remembered all of that, and they were like, Marshawn, you cannot shoot your dick off because then the Saints will have no corners. So I think this policeman, he might need to be whatever the health, whatever it's the Ochsner fan of the week.
Should we put him in the Ring of Honor?
He might, yeah.
He'll definitely be in some bracket sometime on this podcast in 5 years from now. Now I feel bad for Plaxico Burress really, because like if this cop was at that nightclub when Plaxico Burress shot himself, like this cop could have saved Plaxico Burress a lot of trouble.
Indeed.
That's good fatherly advice.
Yeah, Plaxico Burress is the big loser in this situation.
Well, speaking of painkillers, if you watch the video,
it's
clear that Marshawn Lattimore had a number of those.
Yeah,
he looked very calm, very subdued.
Man, whatever he wants to do in the off season, I don't give a shit. As long as he shows up on the football field, I don't care.
Yeah, but would you give him? But watching that video, would you give him $25 million a year?
I don't know.
I should say this. If you decided that you were like, yes, we need to keep Lattimore, we need to pay him, whatever.
Yeah.
Does that video make you second guess things?
No, not really. I mean,
Really?
I mean, like, I think a lot of this. I think this shit is how I'm gonna shoot my dick off. I think I think a lot of this is going on around the league, and I think there are a lot of guys that are getting paid lots of money that are doing this kind of stuff. And
What, shooting their dick off?
no, but being in situations where they could potentially shoot their penis off, which you never want to be in.
So if you haven't watched the video, just so you guys know, the whole point here is that Marshon Lattimore had a gun. You should watch the video. It's it's the cop cam or whatever, and he's in the car. He's got a gun on his person, and it's tucked inside his pants. And the cop says,
"You're gonna shoot your dick
get
off.
yourself a holster. You're gonna shoot your dick off."
Yeah.
So I feel like that trumps worry about your meat. I feel like in the hierarchy of Saints sayings, worry about your meat is a distant number 2 to shoot your dick off now.
I mean, if we
this is
started
reminding me, I think we're gonna need a shirt on saintshappyhourshop.com with this on there.
I
think we're gonna need a "You're gonna shoot your dick off" shirt for sure.
If you were starting a Saints podcast today, "You're gonna shoot your dick off" would have to be the name of the podcast. Throwing that out there. If anybody is listening to this show and they're thinking of starting the Saints podcast, because Lord knows they only have 9,012 of them, "You're gonna shoot your dick off" is a great podcast name.
By the way, good luck getting the number 1 in Malta with that.
That's right.
With that name for a podcast.
Oh, and by the way, Malta listeners, stay till the end because we have an Easter egg just for you during our mock draft.
So
Andrew,
when you say Malta listeners, you mean Miguel?
I know we got more than that. So we got to tease because we're
And his dog.
We're gonna stay number
And
1
his
in
dog.
Malta.
His dog's girlfriend.
His numerous computers.
His family.
But-
By the way, I want to say I forgot at the top of the show. I did want to wish happy birthday to Ryan. He's a big listener of ours. He just turned 40.
Ooh,
Thanks.
good birthday.
Lordy,
Big-
Ryan, 40. Happy birthday, Ryan. Thank you.
Big
for
milestone.
listening. Yes.
Thanks to all the patrons and everybody that listens. And by the way, we are going to do a live Zoom call during the draft. We're going to fire that thing up at pick 15 to 20 range maybe, and we're going to do a live Zoom call. And we're going to go until the Saints pick or trade out or do whatever the hell they're going to do. So if you're a patron, be on the lookout for the Zoom link. I'll try to make sure that you don't need a passcode and we can get that shit off smoothly. With Zoom, it's like a 50-50 proposition.
Expect problems.
Well, I'm
Fair enough.
I see your dummy, Dave, in the background, and I'm really pumped that you haven't used them thus far. So thank you
No,
for
I'm not gonna. I'm not. Look, I know good comedy. I know when you got something good, you don't just keep going back to the well. You get the laughs and you move on. You move on to the next thing. So.
I mean, the only thing worse than your ventriloquist dummy are my fat heads that I bought.
Okay, wait. We gotta.
I thought the whole point of Fathead is that it covers the
People don't know about
good
this.
portion of the wall.
Ralph wanted to get rid of the tiny car flag that he's got hanging up on his wall behind him because it kind of looks ridiculous. It's a tiny flag in the middle of this large wall expanse behind him, and which I didn't want him to do. I wanted him to keep the car flag. I wanted to hide things behind the flag every episode, and we were gonna make it like a bit or whatever where we would reveal what's behind the flag this time, and maybe Ralph could give us clues.
Stupid. Wake up.
So Ralph had the idea. Ralph was like, "Well, fuck that. I want to get rid of the flag. I want to put big fat heads on the wall. Let's blow it up. Blah blah blah." So Ralph orders the fat heads on Amazon. Well, they show up, and his wife hands him an envelope, and she's like, "Here's your fat heads. Here they are in this fucking envelope." And the dumbass Ralph, in typical Ralph, you are so on brand. It's so ridiculous. In typical on brand Ralph fashion, he orders the wrong size fathead. Each fathead is about 4 inches tall.
I didn't even know you could get fat heads this small.
The three of them stacked vertically on top of each other
Are they even
about the
fat
same
heads,
height.
or
They
are they small heads? Are they like
Yeah.
mini fat heads? Like they're
What
not.
a
Even,
fucking-
They're. I
I even see. They're so small. I can't. You got Breeze in the middle. I can't even see who the guys above and below.
It's
Breeze are.
Kamara and Michael Thomas.
They're so small. I can't even tell.
I thought that was Deshaun Watson.
Ralph is like the opposite of Midas. You know, everything Midas touched turned to gold. Everything Ralph touched turns to shit.
Turns to shit.
He just can't do anything right.
I can't.
He can't even make a Yeti mic
That's
work.
the worst joke I've ever heard.
I mean, not only
my
that,
God.
and by the way, I added another mic to the mic graveyard. Andrew bought me a mic to
Tiny
plug into my
fellow.
iPhone to make the locker room chat sound better, and that mic sounds as bad as any mic that we've ever used on this podcast. It sounded like I was in a wind tunnel.
Is that even possible?
in a swimming pool with cement in my mouth. Sorry, Andrew. I'll send it back to you. It was terrible. The locker room will continue to sound like a really, really nice drive-through.
How much did you pay for those three fatheads?
It was like
They were like
20
$6. Ralph was like, "Oh, all
20
three were like $6." I was wondering why they
The
were so
flag.
cheap.
The flag looks like a
$24,
handout at the
I think?
Superdome.
$24. So you paid like $8 a piece for this?
it was like on clearance though. It was marked
That was
down.
cheap. Those are more.
Yeah.
You're supposed to pay more
It was
than
originally
$8.
64. It was originally
Shut up.
64.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, it's got to be big. It's marked down, and then
The flag is free, right? That's a Superdome handout.
That is a Superdome handout. Yes.
Somebody
Got
was
the-
supposed to pay
Got the
64.
energy sponsor, the power of the people.
Somebody was supposed to pay $64 for a 4-inch
guess.
sticker. What?
No,
the
like
fuck?
for the pack of 3. You get the pack of 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was marked down, and I just assumed that like that
That's-
sounded reasonable, and I saw 7. I thought it said 27 inches, and it was really
Well, now
7
maybe
inches.
you should buy more, and like we'll just cover the wall in like the entire roster of.
Well, I
Saints
think we need to
players.
get fat heads of any Saints as many Saints players as we can, and then we can hide them under the curtain, and we can be like,
There we
who's
go.
MVP this week? Oh,
Right.
Demario Davis. Who's the goat of the week this week? And we can like a cornerback or something, and it
What
could be
room
fun.
in your
Yeah.
house? What room in your house are you in?
I am in the dining room.
Does that stay
Uh,
up like just the whole time? Like when you're eating dinner with the family? That
No,
You're
we
looking at
don't.
the
This
fat heads and
this room is. If you set a camera, this room is chaos because we're doing remodeling work in the Marlboro house. This room is complete chaos right now.
Oh.
What the hell is that,
That's-
Juge? That you're
that's like
shoving
an NFT.
in?
I can see myself in. I can see my reflection off of your screen onto Drew Brees' card there. Is that like an NFT? That's a one of a kind thing.
Yeah. My son just got this from my dad, Steven, who's
What
on
is
the
that?
chat right now.
Oh well,
Um,
Steven, my address is 800 Broadway Street, New Orleans 70118.
Nice.
You're gonna be
Um,
getting some anthrax from our fans.
I mean, that's my business address, so it's public.
There you go.
So,
there we
by
go.
the way,
we're
the
not
thing
done
that
talking
Thomas is
about
showing
Marshawn
now,
Lattimore.
Thomas didn't do that. I did that meme on my phone
That's pretty
with
good,
the angry girlfriend looking at the boyfriend, looking at the girl walking by him. That says Marshawn Lattimore shooting off your dick, and the angry girlfriend is Marshawn Lattimore's future kids. I did that.
That's
and,
pretty good.
Thomas is
the-
god of Photoshop.
The thing that makes me so mad about Twitter is I did that, and that's comedy gold, and it got like 9 retweets. I did the Sean Payton looks like Frankie Muniz, and that thing is still getting retweets. It's got like 4,000 likes and like a ridiculous amount of retweets. And I took 10
You just
seconds to
never
do that.
know, man.
Yeah,
just
no, I
never
thought
know.
I thought my Christmas story, you'll shoot your dick off meme was gonna be fucking through the roof. You know, was gonna be on the front page of the New York Times, and it got like 6 likes, and that was it. And I was like, oh man,
Well done, Dave.
yeah.
It is.
What do I know? What do I know?
So
I'm going to get a beer.
listen,
I'm done with my painkiller.
It's draft week for the Saints. And Andrew, Sean Payton was at the I want to call it the Zurich Classic, but I don't think it's the Zurich Classic.
Yes, no, you
anymore.
are correct. It was the Zurich Classic.
It's still,
By the way,
so he was
Sean Payton.
I love
is
that. I love that Ralph second guesses correct. You know, like he says the name of something correctly, and he's like, "Nah, that can't be right."
My
That's
wife.
true.
My wife.
My wife.
Is out to dinner right now, and she said Sean Payton is at the restaurant that she's at. So I'm
What
waiting
restaurant
till she
is that?
I don't know if I should say that now because it's like literally live happening right now. I don't want to send people to that restaurant as it's happening.
Did she?
Dude, who cares?
How are his nipples?
I don't know. I told her to get a photo. I never got a photo, but if she comes home,
Look, if any of
tonight-
our patrons rush to this restaurant, then what's the restaurant?
the Chloe on St. Charles.
The Chloe. Oh yeah,
It's like
it's
a
good,
new-
good
it's-
spot.
It's a new, yes, it's the new trendy posh spot. Used to be an old bed and breakfast that
Sean-
they turned into a restaurant.
All right,
slash bed and-
everybody, go.
No, do
Sean
not go.
Payton's nipples
not
are
go.
hidden on the great golf shot that he had in the Pro-Am. But what I was gonna say, Andrew, is
Yeah, no, that was a great shot though. That was a great shot.
It was. I was going to say, though, he said that cornerback is a must. And I'm just remembering back to 2018, Andrew, where he said pass rusher is a must. And they went up and they got Marcus 2 first. So that sort of had my wheels turning.
Yeah.
So are we feeling the same about cornerback?
I feel that way. Yeah, I think they go up and they get one, and I'm zeroed in on Greg Newsome of Northwestern. And usually, like, here's the thing, like, I always tell people never lock in on a guy, especially when you're picking 28. Do not lock in on a player. That's the worst thing you could ever do. It's you're setting yourself up to be disappointed. I am completely locked up.
I
Greg
can't
Newsome.
remember.
Like, against
Andrew,
my
how long
own
have you
advice.
Andrew, how long have you been doing this podcast with us?
A decade.
I can't remember you ever being this locked in on one player before.
I know.
Like,
It's
he's sending me texts, tweets. He's sending me a fucking Raz score of news. Andrew's deep in his crush
Yeah.
and love for Newsome. It's
not
hardcore.
healthy. Yeah, and look, J.C. Horn is maybe another one. Caleb Farley.
Oh, I love JC Horn.
So
Like,
I could see any of those three really. And Surtain's probably the one to me that's unattainable because I think he goes in the top 10. But it'll be interesting. I do think they're going to go up and get a corner. Here's the thing, from what I've been told, if they don't get a corner and they're not able to trade up and get a guy they want, and then at 28, their cloud of best players available is like a few tackles. What I'm hearing is they will trade down. So.
Oh my god!
That could be smoke. That could be fire. But
I think Kevin just stopped having sex with his doctor girlfriend, and I think his ears are burning.
yeah. His ears perked up.
He's coming.
He's like,
Yeah.
he came. He came.
He came and he's coming.
As soon as I said that, he just like, I got nothing left.
So here's my devil's advocate take on this whole thing, that Andrew's talking about. So, you mentioned Marcus 2 first as an example of, when the Saints lock in, not necessarily on a specific guy, but a specific position.
Yeah.
And so my concern is like, that's not, I don't know if that's the best idea. You lock in on a certain position, and then you're reaching for a guy, and you're taking a guy that's maybe not worth, the 28th pick or wherever you're picking, and
Tell
maybe
him
there's
about
somebody else,
the stat, Ralph. Tell him about the stat. I said.
and maybe there's somebody else who's a better value. And what happened to the whole let the draft come to you? And I am just a firm believer in just taking best guy available, even if it's not a position you need.
That is
draft that guy.
stupid. Wake up.
Stop. And then, but draft that guy and fucking then trade him to somebody else or whatever and get.
Well,
the guy,
Dave, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea to let me try to do things for this podcast, like order fatheads on my own, but it happens time after time after time. We know what the Saints maybe should do or
Look
whatever.
at those little ridiculous things.
but we know
Blips on the radar of your wall. Yeah.
I love. It's just so fucking Malbro brand. My God.
I mean, is the guy on the top Courtney Watson? Is he?
Kamara.
You know,
Middle-
is he
middle-
Ronaldo
oh, that-
Turnbull? I don't know.
No.
Could be
Yeah,
anybody.
right.
We could
Will
do fatheads all the way around.
I think the middle one is Billy Joe, one of the Billy Joes. I don't even know which one. I can't tell.
Oh man, I would pay $11-12 for a Billy Joe fathead. I really would.
I think that's gonna need to be a custom job. I don't think they're stocking the Billy Joes Billy Joe fatheads in any size.
But I'm excited about this.
I think they trade up. I think they trade up for a corner. Like I think that's what'll end up happening. I agree.
I like it because my Channel 4 column, my entire prediction is they're not going to pick at 28. Either they're trading up for a corner or they're trading back. So
But
I'm
Ralph,
excited for this.
Tell Dave to counterpoint to Dave's thing. Tell him what I texted you today.
You
about
texted me
Loomis.
about how about the Saints? Was that about the Saints being awesome at drafting?
Yes.
And how their hit rate is like 53% for drafts.
51.
And my counterpoint was history tells us that a team usually has about a 5-year window of good drafting, and then they go to shit drafting, and it all evens out. And even teams like Seattle, New England, they go through the same pattern. And I was just telling Andrew, like, I'm worried that like the Saints are due for like a dog shit draft. Like history tells us that. You know, like
it's classic. Classic.
But I take it back because I really think that if they get one of those 4 corners, they'll like if they fix corner, they have a really good shot at being.
Here's the strange thing about that though, and you mentioned Seattle, you mentioned the Patriots, both rated, right? Front office is rated.
Yeah, that's true.
Coaching staff's rated. That hasn't really happened to the Saints. I mean, they did lose some coaches and they lost Fontenot this year, so that's the most rated the Saints have been in years. But they still have Loomis, they still have Peyton, they still have Ireland. So like they haven't lost. The scouting department is mostly the same. It's not like one of their scouts has been poached to become a GM. So they have kept it relatively intact, and that's why I feel like their hit rate's 51%. Number 2 is like 47. Number 3 is like 43. So like the variance from the Saints since 2017 to teams number 2 and 3, and then you go further down after that, like the hit rate is much lower.
Yeah,
so
and if you slide in,
my point is the
it'd
Saints
be higher.
Yeah, the Saints are the best team at drafting by an appreciable distance in the last 5 years.
My favorite thing, Dave, about
I
the
don't believe
Saints
you.
and their great hit
I wish
rate.
Thomas could pull that GIF up right now. Don't believe.
Well,
it.
here's the thing that makes me so happy,
Anchorman.
Dave, is the
one?
Saints. They've been so great at drafting, and they go against everything the draft nerds preach.
Yeah.
The Saints, they trade up. Draft nerds say trade down, acquire more picks. And Dave, the Saints basically take a dump on the trade chart whenever they want a player. They did it for Marcus Tufers. They overpaid. They did it for Von Bell. Like they just don't give a fuck, and they go get the players they want.
They were ready. They were ready to burn the chart to the ground for Zach Bond.
All right. Look, fathead. You. By the way, the fathead part of the Saints, because that would get screwed up. You know, like Peyton would tell Ralph who they want to draft, and then Ralph would like give him a totally different name, whatever. And all of a sudden, Goodell's reading off a name that Peyton never even wanted. No, but you're telling me the Saints are better drafters than the Patriots?
100%.
Oh,
Patriots.
It's not even close. Are you kidding?
Patriots last 5 years have been awful.
The Patriots do exactly what the draft nerds want them to do. They're acquire picks, trade down. And
Yeah.
they have been awful.
Seattle too. Seattle, the draft nerds love Seattle. They trade down, and they just miss. Because the thing is, like, if your board sucks, it doesn't matter how many picks you have, right?
Dave, the Patriots have tried for years now to draft a receiver to give a weapon to Tom Brady before he left. And I can read this list for you if you want, but I recommend you go look at that online. You'll see how fucking terrible the Patriots are at drafting.
Are the Saints are the Patriots as bad at drafting wide receivers as the Saints were at drafting corners before Lattimore?
Maybe not quite.
I mean, but then again, the Saints didn't have too many like corners that were like high second and first round misses. I mean,
all right. Well, then let me make this argument. If the Saints are so good, or if the Saints are so good at evaluating talent or hitting on so many picks, why then wouldn't they try to get as many picks as they could get and hit on more picks?
I think in the thinking for the Saints is they know which guys they want, and there's few of them that they think will work in their system and be successful that they're positive about. So they go out of their way to go get those guys, because if they reach in the bag and just get a bunch of randoms, it's
and also
not
too, Dave.
I
think that one thing for the Saints especially the last 3 years, like their roster was so good, you didn't want the Saints drafting 10 guys because they didn't have fucking spots for them, right? So now I think trading down is more likely because they have more holes. I mean, last year they got Ruiz, Bond, and Troutman, and that was basically it, right? And they got Tommy Stevens later. But like they didn't have a lot of spots to fill that rookies could even make the roster. So I think that was a point, actually, Dave, that Bill Barnwell made. He's like, the Saints have been so good. He's like, I wish they wouldn't trade up so much, that they hit so often. Maybe they could get even more good players. But he's like, I can't knock them because they're so goddamn good. Like he wanted to like say that they aren't as good as they were, but like even Barnwell couldn't do it. So, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting this year, Dave, because I think your theory of maybe they need more picks, if ever there was a year that was true in the last 5, it's definitely this year. But Thomas, get the draft picks ready, because we're going to start. This is our first annual Saints Happy Hour. Don't shoot your dick off mock draft.
Wait a second. Dave is gone.
So go to Saints Happy Hour shop and buy some merch at Dave's store. He worked really hard on it. Get a t-shirt, get a visor, get a hat. It's great. So before we start this draft, Andrew, and I push the button to the PFF to start it, do you think there's any way that your dream scenario player would fall to 28? Like, what's a player that you would say, I cannot believe this has happened? The Saints are at 28. Turn that card in right freaking now. Like, who's your dream scenario that you would just be over the moon, fully erect, and texting me and Dave, and just breathless with anticipation like you were with Lattimore in 2017?
And the Saints don't move up, right? We're just talking about falling to the Saints at 28.
Just guy fell to the Saints.
I would say between Greg Newsome and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, I would say those two, either one, I'd be thrilled.
All right. So
I mean, it's not going to happen. Newsome is probably the more likely of the two, but I don't think either has a good shot.
I'm running the PFF simulator.
Newsome always seems to fall in PFF. Something is wrong with PFF simulator.
Well, okay, but this draft, Andrew, I paused it at 18. Newsome's the last corner available.
Farley's gone.
So, what's that?
Farley is gone.
He's a Raider. Horn is gone, and Surtain is gone. So do we need to move up? I see we do. I'm burning the 2022 second, and I'm moving to 28 to 18. Is that unrealistic? I think Dave has dropped out, and he's going to be do it. So we did it. So we're on the clock. So we got it at this moment. Like we're moving up. We're taking Newsom because the only other guy you could take is Caramoa, and he just
no, we're not trading up. No,
we did it already.
No,
you need better internet.
Oh my god!
But here's the thing: if you look at these available players,
fucking Cox.
Need better internet.
Yeah, well, listen.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Look, that's probably what Sean Payton was dealing with last year during the COVID when he was doing the draft at home. It was like, well, shit. If you didn't want us to draft this dude, you should have had better internet, Mickey.
But Dave, I'll let you have the word since you're back. These are the players that are available at 18. Newsom, Phillips, Marshall, Owe, Little, who you would be okay having even less because these are the best available. You would be okay not having any of these guys at 28.
Well, Dave's frozen. We're taking Newsom, dude. Dave had his chance to speak up. You snooze, you lose. Take Newsom. You know, Dave is like Dennis Allen here. Or forget it. He's like Carmichael. You know, he doesn't want to trade up. He doesn't want us to get defense. But you know what, Ralph? You're Loomis and I'm Ireland, and we're taking Newsom because we don't care what Dave Cariello Carmichael Jr.
I just feel like the Saints, if the corners all would go in like the first 15 picks, I think the Saints would be like, our 2022 second can't get us to 15, I don't think. Right. So the Saints would be like, God damn it. It didn't work out. They would reevaluate. Maybe they trade down or whatever. But I think, man, if one of those corners gets in the range where they can burn either a 3rd round pick or a 2nd, or hell, they got 2 3rd rounds next year and 2 4ths probably because of Hendrickson. They might have 3 3rds next year. They will burn those assets. Look, first of all, Newsom, he's got tremendous hair. That is quality hair from him.
Nice quaff.
His only weakness is he thinks a hot dog is a sandwich, and he's not Joe Horn's son. If they pick J.C. Horn, I will be euphoric. That's his only weakness to me, that he's not Joe Horn's son.
Where did J.C. Horn go in this mock, Ralph?
J.C. Horn went before Surtain in this draft.
Wow.
So, here we go. We're going to pick. We got to get to pick 60. So let's refire it up.
All right.
By the way,
a receiver or a linebacker here would feel great.
Here's the thing. The pick at 28 for the Saints, Walker, the tackle, went to Miami at 28. In case you were wondering. So we're at pick 60 now. All right, so Thomas,
where Dave's still trying to come in. Look, he doesn't get any say. We're just gonna freaking make these picks. You don't get back, Dave. You snooze, you lose.
So here's the pick. I take it back. Walker Little wasn't the pick at 28. It was another tackle name I cannot pronounce. So here's the available players at 60.
Shocker.
Now, this is to me very, very interesting because at 60, the Saints could need a linebacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have 2 linebackers. The PFF mock drafts are weird. You talk about how Newsom falls. One of the guys that I notice always freaking falls is, and I'm going to probably say his name order, but Jamin Davis. He falls all the time, and he's available. My man, Jabril Cox, he's there. Walker Little, the tackle, who they have rated 24, is there. A wide receiver, Diame Brown, and Rashid Weaver, who is an end, who he fits the prototype. I don't know dick about him, but he does fit all their measurements, so he's there. I got to say, as we wait for Dave to get back, Andrew,
No, next man up, man. We'll get Thomas to chime in here.
Oh yeah.
Here's
next
my
man
thing.
up, dude. You're in, Thomas.
I want Jabril Cox.
Trade
No,
down,
I
man.
want
Trade
them to
down.
pick-
Trade down.
But
I want Davis.
you want Davis.
He's
Explain
not
to me
fu-
what
well,
the
he's
difference.
not-
Why
he's
is
not-
Davis better?
He's not going to fall to 60, first of all. But second of all, Jabril Cox to me is purely a situational cover guy. Yeah, I think he could play in the league starting right away, but he's not a guy. I mean, Davis is just a way more well-rounded linebacker, and he's got a lot of publications think he's a first round guy. I mean, if you just put it all together, size, speed, agility, production in college. I mean,
Isn't he a
Cox-
1-year player though? Like
He is. Yep.
Ugh, I hate 1-year players.
Why?
I hate it. Like you want all right. So listen.
I
If
want
Dave was here,
Davis.
he could scream you down. Dave would probably be anti-Cox because he's anti-LSU.
He's anti-LSU.
So-
That's right.
So we'll go Davis here. I like that pick.
He's not going to be there at 60. No way.
Well, I mean, he's there. I don't know. You're probably right. But listen, we're doing a draft.
I've seen a lot of mocks where he goes in the first.
I've seen a lot
Look
of.
at those abs. My God.
Yeah.
Look at those abs.
So Dave is saying he can't connect to Discord. Man, Dave has worse internet than I have, and that's saying something.
Pronunciation.
Yeah.
So we'll go Davis at pick 60. Slide him in there, Thomas. It's a good pick. So far, Andrew, I really like this draft because if even one of these guys hits, the Saints defense has gotten a lot better because you could put Davis next to Demario Davis and then your linebacker.
I
core
don't
is-
even think it needs to get better. I think if it just stays status quo, we'd be happy, right?
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right now, I feel like the defense has gone downhill. It's gone backwards. Just because you lose a starter and Jackrabbit and your defensive line rotation.
Dave said my internet keeps going in and out. Dave, tell the people what you said about Jabril Cox.
You're either muted or your audio sucks.
I am muted. Okay, Jesus effing Christ. Fuck Cox Cable. Fuck them. Fuck them in the ass.
All right, so I got
Jabril
outvoted.
Cox.
We're going Davis.
Is Jabril Cox any relation to your internet provider?
Yeah. Fuck Cox. Oh my God. Fuck Cox Cable. Fuck Jabril Cox. Fuck a bag of
I'm a new
Cox.
Andrew's dad
sponsor.
says Jammin is the perfect who dat name to go dancing in Kenner with AK-41.
Ah,
That was Metairie, by the way.
Metri. That's right.
Yeah.
I
mean-
drove past that place. I finally figured out where that place is. I had no idea where that place was.
What was
All
it
right.
called again?
I don't know. It's like a new. I don't know. It's like a new place. I think
Yeah.
it's right by Swamp Room, which makes sense.
So
It sure does.
So Dave, you would go Davis. Would you be happy if the
Wait,
Saints
what?
went
No.
defense?
No,
first
I'm already annoyed with Greg Newsom. I'm already annoyed with trading up to get 18. And look, we were talking about Saints the heading on players.
Hey, look, the picks are in, man. You can't
I
have
know.
revisionist history my ass. You were
Well-
gone. Your internet sucked. Like Tom. Hey, next man up. Thomas stepped up. You know, he gave us his opinion.
The
It's
time
done.
ran out.
Did wait,
Next
did
team
the-
drafted.
If you're unhappy, you can make up for it with these next.
Davis,
picks, but You don't
Minnesota.
get any say. It's over. It's over,
did,
Dave.
did the Saints trade up for Zach Bond?
They
Yes.
did.
I don't really think that was.
There he goes. Oh, look, he's about to be out. Pick 98. Let's go. Let's make it before he comes back. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go.
All right, so we're at pick 98, and here's the
Okay,
available
I'll be
guys.
I'll be honest with you. That's just me DDoSing Dave. That's
like
why he's
Dave got this. Dave got this shit-eating
Thomas
grin.
is like he didn't lose his internet that time. I just dropped him out.
Thomas is in freaking Poland, and his internet is fine.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm impressed they have internet in Poland.
I know.
Yeah, our internet is
So-
pretty good right now.
So here's the thing.
Certainly
Pick
better than Dave's.
Yes.
Certainly. Pick 98, Andrew. Here's available players. We got Tyson Campbell. We got Jamar Johnson. He keeps falling. He's a safety. He's really rated high. I can't see the Saints necessarily picking a safety, but if they really like him, like say PFF does, they could make a case for taking him because Malcolm Jenkins is old. Marcus Williams is only on a franchise 1-year deal. You can make a case for taking a safety if you want it. Milton Williams, another local guy, Louisiana Tech, great defensive tackle. Josh Palmer, a receiver for Tennessee. I don't know anything about him because Tennessee wastes talent. But he's there. He's rated 71. Peyton Turner, defensive end, is there. He's a guy. He's really good. He fits all the Saints sort of prototypes for defensive end, Andrew. And he has like freakishly long arms, like the doctor from Fantastic Four, freakishly long arms. Like his reach.
This is
it's
a
like
tough,
39 and a
tough
half.
board, man. This is a tough board, and it's a good problem to have. Like if these are the 5 best players available at 98, I'm thrilled. And by the way, we have another pick in 7 picks, and I'm hoping that one of these 5 guys will still be on the board because I would love to get 2 of these 5. But this is a great board. I mean, so let's go through them one by one real quick. I mean, Tyson Campbell, you can double down at corner. He's got the size and speed. He's got everything you want to be successful in the league, and it's just a question of can he put it together. I think Jamar Johnson's going to be a good player. You don't need a safety this year, but like you said, Malcolm Jenkins is on the way out. Milton Williams, to me, is one of the most underrated players in the draft, and his RAS scores are off the charts. Again, size, speed, his quickness, his agility. He's like Sheldon Rankins before he got injured. I mean, he's a freak. Josh Palmer, I like him a lot. His RAS score is kind of poor, but I just feel like Josh Palmer, he's another Tennessee offensive player. It's like totally underutilized in a black hole of an offense, and like you bring him to the Saints, it's like Callaway and Kamara. It's like this flower that's just waiting to blossom in the right environment. And then we can use a pass rusher, and I like Peyton Turner. So these are 5 good players, and you can't go wrong. I'm tempted to double dip at corner, but I would love a receiver, but I just keep going back to. You've lost 3 guys in your rotation. Hendrickson, Malcolm Brown. You've lost Rankins. I go Milton Williams here just to reinforce the defensive line.
I think we go Peyton Turner here. One, because if they don't extend Marcus to firsts, right, then you have trouble at defensive end. If Cam Jordan gets old, I think you need a body. And I think the trump card in this
but if he's the lowest rated of this board, right? He's the most likely to be there at 105, no?
Well, yeah, but also, man, Peyton Turner is such a good quality name for me. Like
I want Milton Williams. So Dave's not here, so let's get Thomas, man. Next man up.
Thomas, do the tie break. Who we taking?
I like Peyton Turner.
There you go. Peyton Turner.
All right.
Because he's from Houston. He's from Houston. I like Astros. Yeah. Like Ralph. did they win tonight, by the way?
He's a Cougar, but close enough. Whatever.
Did they win
tonight? They'll pick 105.
The Astros win tonight, Ralph?
The Astros did not. They fell below 500. They didn't do enough cheating. They didn't bang.
Well, maybe that's a sign we should take Milton Williams. Just saying.
Yeah. They didn't bang the trash can strong enough, so they lost. So pick 105. Here's the thing. This one's difficult because now those players are gone, and your choices are Brady Christensen, Jamar Johnson, Kyle Trask, Josh Palmer. Those are your choices, right? So I look at this.
There.
What's that?
Palmer's still there.
Palmer's still there. I go Palmer. Here's the reason why. Sean Payton has shown once he gets a Tennessee Volunteer player, the Tennessee Volunteer stink disappears off of them. Kamara, He was a 5-star player. He went to Alabama, and he was kind of underused at Tennessee.
Milton Williams is still there. Come on, give me my defensive line rotation. I want Milton Williams. Damn it.
Well, I say Josh Palmer. Thomas breaks the tie, and Dave is MIA. Yes, I guess Dave just drank his painkiller, gave up, and went.
Matt
to bed.
Ulrich, he's in the chat. He's saying he wants Milton Williams.
He's saying Milton.
No, we want Josh
Milton.
Palmer because Kamara needs a drinking buddy from Tennessee.
Well, he doesn't. Callaway gives him that. No.
And I just feel like they've gone so much.
Like just one. He needs another one.
So here we went Palmer, and I just think it's funny that Sean Payton gets more out of Tennessee players than the Tennessee coaches do. That would just be hysterical. Although Milton, this is a tough call. Like Milton,
you guys passed on Milton Williams twice. That's just disgusting to me.
Yeah, I don't think they would. The thing is, on this draft, the more I think about it, I don't think they would pass on Milton Williams because, like, he's like prototype out the wazoo, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So Thomas, do you have a magic marker? Can we scratch Palmer? And no, we can't. We can't.
No.
Do that.
It's final. No.
The pick is in.
Too late for that.
You can't rush to the podium.
Andrew told this himself like 5 minutes ago today.
That's what we did. We forgot to play the chime for the pick. Thomas, get the
like this is a shit show. We forgot about everything.
We did. This podcast is like 2012
Yeah,
quality.
where's the chime, Thomas? Come on, give us the
Where's
chime.
Dave? The chime?
Dave is fucking that. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
So pick 133. Here's the thing. This is gonna drive y'all crazy because
Milton Williams, did he fall to 133?
He did fall to 133.
Oh my God! Take him already. I will fight you. I will drive to Houston and fight you. I will fly to Poland. I swear to God, I will fight you.
So here's the thing. We got Jamar Johnson. This draft for PFF is ridiculous because they got Jamar Johnson still there. They got Milton Williams still there. Kellen Mond, he might be there, I guess, in the 4th. But here's the thing. Andrew, we had to do this pick early.
I mean, the value with Milton Williams. Come on, like it doesn't get any better.
Yeah, but we had to cater to the Malta audience to stay number one because we've been number one 3 of the last 4 weeks, and I really, really want to stay number one at Malta. So I got us a guest picker. Hold on, Thomas. I gotta make sure that I pull it up.
You want me to play it? You want me to play it?
So play the chime, and then I'll do the pick. This is Miguel from Malta. He's our guest picker.
Stolen Forsyth, University of Florida.
I feel like this is a fun name, Andrew, because it sounds like the guy who would be Ron Burgundy's best friend in Anchorman 4.
But you just took another receiver. If you knew that we were about to... Oh, he's a tackle. I'm sorry.
He's a tackle. He's a tackle.
My bad.
No, he's not a receiver. But there's no 2 things about this draft. There's no way on God's green earth Milton Williams lasts to pick 133. And there's no way on God's green earth if he did, the Saints wouldn't take him. Those 2 things will not happen, correct?
Correct.
But let's look at this draft overall. I really, really like this draft that we have constructed for the Saints because you filled a bunch of needs on defense. Greg Newsome.
Yep.
Davis at linebacker. Peyton Turner. Getting ends later in the draft that end up being double-digit sack guys is rare, but he looks like he could be a rotation guy. I like Palmer just because the Saints have had success with Tennessee, but the thing about him is his RAS score is kind of bad. That worries me. The tackle from Florida, like he's really good. His scores and his height and everything. And the thing is for the Saints, Andrew, both of their tackles are free agents after this year. So they need a guy that they can groom. They could redshirt him for a year. They could even give him the Peyton red shirt if they wanted. Like this, if the Saints did this draft, put aside the fact that they didn't pick a bunch of guys that that would drive you crazy, because I don't think that I don't think Milton Williams would fall that far, or other guys. But if the Saints did this, how pleased would you be, or would you be disappointed and felt like they needed to do something else?
Yeah, I mean, Milton Williams is probably the big lament that I would have, that we passed him 3 times, and I would rather have Milton Williams than Peyton Turner. So that's probably the big mistake. But my God, man, you look at Greg, Newsome, and Davis, who I think could start. I think you probably get 2 starters out of this draft right away. Peyton Turner is probably more of a developmental guy. I think Josh Palmer maybe makes a couple plays, catches some passes this year. We'll see. And then you got a developmental tackle when you have 2 guys on a 1-year deal starting, and he's 6'8", 315. I mean, what's not to like about that as a developmental project? So, yeah, there's a lot to work with there. And, Josh Palmer, his RAS is like 8.22. So it's not good. No, I mean, it's over 8. It's fine. It's pretty good. So it's not great, but it's good. So I think overall this is a great class. You've got probably 2 starters and 3 guys you can develop. So look, anytime you get 2 starters out of a draft and 2 other guys that are maybe playing or contributing, that's pretty much a home run.
Is there a price that the Saints would pay to move up to get the corner, to get one of the top 4 corners? Not the 2022 first, because I don't think they would do that, and I don't think they would have to burn that. But what is a price that you would be like, that's too much? I like that you wouldn't like it if they moved up to get Newsome, and they what would they burn that you'd be like, I don't like that? Like,
I would not like to see them kind of package 98 and 105, like both 3rd-round picks. Like, I want them to try to keep as many picks in this year's draft as they can.
So you'd rather them do like a 2022 second?
Yeah, and that's what we did in this draft, and I would be open to. I think they're going to burn some assets in 2022, maybe a second, maybe a 4th, maybe a 3rd. I don't think the 2022 first is in play. I think that would be a bad move in the sense that with Drew Brees gone, and with the amount they've had to kind of cut given their cap situation, we don't know what this season is going to bring. I think the variance and how good or bad they can be is pretty. It can fluctuate, depending on injuries and luck and all that stuff. And they could be 7-10, or they could be 12-6. We just don't know. So based on that, I don't think you can trade that first, because you don't know how high it's going to be. So I think you got to keep that.
They know that they're going to get an extra 3rd. They got the 2 compensatory picks. So that Terry Fontenot pick for next year, you're going to pick 98 probably again, right? You're going to probably get 90. I don't think they'll get another 3rd for Hendrickson, but they could even factor that in and be like, hey, we're going to get 2 comp 3rds next year. We can totally burn those 2022 3rds or the 2022 second. What do you think the odds of, because I did this scenario with you and you kind of poo-pooed it, you kind of shit all over me when we were texting. I said, look, I think there's a really good chance that 5 quarterbacks go and the 4 corners go, and it's wide receivers and linebackers or whoever that fall. I think the corners could all be gone by 15, and 15 might be too high a price for the Saints to pay, and they have to pivot and do something else. That scenario, what would you say on this Sunday night when the draft is Thursday? What would you say the odds of my sort of doomsday scenario where all the corners are gone by pick 15? What odds do you see that happening?
Well, I don't know that I shit on you with that prediction. I mean, that could happen. I mean, that would kind of be a disaster. That's definitely what we don't want to happen if we're Saints fans. But I think Micah Parsons and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, like, let's say they're both gone. Let's say the 4 corners are gone. And, there's a run at pass rusher, and all of a sudden you're like, well, we can gamble on, like, a Jason Owe, or we can take an offensive lineman, or we can reach for, like, a Terrence Marshall or, like, an Asante Samuel. Like, we don't love that. And to me, that's like, that could totally happen.
Yeah. The hardest thing for the Saints in that situation that makes it doubly difficult, I think, is it's easy to say, we don't really like anybody, we want to trade down, but you need a team that wants to come up.
Right. That's the thing. Like, there has to be a team that's like, I love that player, I want to go get him. Otherwise, you can't just say, I want to trade down and expect a bag of riches, So that's the tough thing, is you got to not like the pick, and somebody else has to love it. And, listen, there's probably a lot of guys there that would fall that teams would love, and they would have a bigger need at that position maybe than the Saints. But this all adds up again to the Saints don't want to get in that position where they have to deal with that. And so I think around 18 to 25, that's like that zone where I think the Saints are going to move up, because, like, I just know they're going to be paranoid about being in that position that you're talking about right there. I think they're just going to say, you know what, I don't even want to mess with a possibility of us being in that spot, so let's just go get our guy.
Yeah, the thing is, it becomes hard though. It's like everybody wants a freaking corner, right?
Yeah. Hey, shout out to Ben Rothwell, who just had a baby, Amelia, he's been a big supporter of the podcast for a long time. So happy for him and his family to get a new addition.
Enjoy it when they're young and they're sleeping like 20 hours a day. Because
good.
Because it's really fun, and then it gets awful when you have like a 5-year-old yelling at you and running through a parking lot taking off his clothes. So
it's probably because you put him to bed so late. He's tired.
Yeah. I do. We need it. That was a discussion before the show. I put my 5-year-old. We put him to bed at like 8:45, 9 o'clock, and Andrew's like, "What are you doing? Put him to bed earlier so we can start this show earlier." Your dad says Loomis will mortgage the future. I don't think they're gonna mortgage the future. The thing is, if they can't get a corner, I would much prefer them to be able to pick like 42, 60, 98, and maybe a team gives them another pick. So, like they would move down from like 28 to 42 and get like 42, 72, and have 60 and 98, and get 4 players in the top 100, 5 in the top, 105. That would be ideal. But honestly, Andrew, the thing that would make me the most happiest, and I can't see it happening, but it does occasionally, if a team loves a player and the Saints would drop down from like 28 to 42 and get a 2022 first, I would love that. And I know Thomas is in Poland clapping, because Thomas, you love the draft and you get sad when they don't have a first round pick. But if they had 2 first round picks in 2022, it'd be a long way away, but we'd be pumped about it. And I just feel like with the uncertainty they have at quarterback, Andrew, where you don't know if Jameis is going to be good, you don't know how this season is going to go, to have 2 first round picks in 2022, if Jameis goes bad, then you can be like, okay, we got 2 first round picks. We can go up and get a quarterback. We can get a guy we like. We can do different things. And if Jameis kills it, then you're like, hey, we're reloading. We're going to go back into YOLO mode, and we're going to add 2 really good players in the first round, or 1 elite player from the top 10 maybe, or whatever. And I just would love that. That would be, besides getting a corner, if they could get a 2022 first, those are my 2 ideal scenarios. What's your ideal scenario if they don't get a corner?
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Go get me that athletic linebacker that can cover. So that's my ideal scenario. I mean, I love the idea of having 2 firsts. I wouldn't mind. The Saints have been so good and so fun the last 3 years that if we have to suffer through 1 year of mediocrity, I don't want that. I mean, I'd rather the team just continue to win and compete. But if I have to suffer through one bad year to kind of restock, and you get a bunch of picks, and so yeah, the prospect of a couple 2022 firsts would make next year's draft really exciting. So I would be open to that. But I just go back to, look, we can think about positions of players we want. We can think about how many picks, trade down. I mean, there's all these scenarios. I just keep going back to, look, it's simple. As a fan, like, I don't ask for much. Just pick good players. Just, like, I don't care what position they play. Like, here's the thing. Go back to Ramczyk. Go back to some of these other guys. Like, when Will Smith was taken, when Deuce McAllister was taken, there was no place on the team. There was no playing time for Deuce McAllister his first year because Ricky Williams was on the team. When Will Smith was taken, they had Charles Grant on one side. They had Darren Howard on the other. There was nowhere to put him, you know? And it's just like, everyone hated the pick. People didn't like the Deuce pick. Everyone hated the Will Smith pick. And it's just like, Ramczyk.
Buddy D lost his mind. I was sitting next to him. Buddy D had a conniption fit. He was like, Will Smith, the actor, where are they going to play him? I don't think they know what they're doing. But it goes to show you, if you get a good player, figure it out later.
That's right. Ramczyk, like, Zach Strief was your right tackle. Didn't really make sense. Man, did that pay off. So listen, it's not, I don't care where they play. I don't care if they have to sit for a year. Just get good players, because in the long haul, like, I want Ramczyk being on my offensive line for 7 years or however long he stays with the Saints, much more than I want some guy that I think fills immediate need.
Here's my question to you, and then we'll get to the listener questions, and Thomas can play the Take It to the Top music. But my question to you is this. We're focused on corner. But what's another, and you mentioned Koromoa, what's another player that you think the Saints could trade up for where they would be like, he's the last guy we have a first round grade on, and he's still there at 18, 19, 20, 21. We're going to burn one of these third round picks because he's the last guy with a high grade, and the difference between him and the next dude is big enough. Who's a couple of players that aren't corners that we should maybe think about that they might trade up to get?
Are you trying to get me to say a quarterback? Are you trying to get me to say that fifth quarterback? Is this like a trap?
No, because I think the quarterbacks are going to be gone. Like, if Josh Fields is there at 15, 16, I think it treeps in your mind, but I think they're all going to be gone. So when I said it, I wasn't thinking quarterback. I was thinking another position that we're not thinking of.
Well, I do think receiver is a need. I do think number 2 receiver, obviously Emmanuel Sanders is gone. They've got enough on the team that they can get by. But to me, after Michael Thomas, it's just a bunch of number 3s. That's what's. They have a bunch of number 3 receivers and maybe potential number 4s with like Juwan Johnson and Lil Jordan Humphrey, those guys. So like, they need a receiver, but as I look at the receivers that have like first round grades, Jamar Chase is going to be gone. Devontae Smith is going to be gone. Jalen Waddle, those guys are going to be gone. So it's really like Rashad Bateman, Terrace Marshall. Like, I don't really see the Saints, like, if they fall to 28, great. So then you look at the pass rushers, and to me, again, pass rusher is one of those things where these guys are going to get overdrafted. Like, there's a bunch of guys that I'm interested in. I like them, but I don't know that I'm picking them in the first round, because it's like, how sure of a thing are they? I do like Kwity Paye out of Michigan. I do like him. And if the Saints picked him at 28, I would not be upset.
All right, Thomas, fire up the music. We're going to get to viewer questions before we get out of here. Do I hear that? I'm dancing, but I don't hear the music. There it is.
There it is.
Fatheads. So time.
Man.
Getting in close. All right, Thomas.
That's the Morton Anderson hit from the 80s. Take it to the top.
So, Thomas,
first question from Budrich. With both players With both players both likely heading to a contract year, which would happen most likely? Davenport hitting double-digit sacks or Traquan hitting over 1,000 yards receiving?
I'm gonna go Davenport. If he's healthy, he's capable of doing that. And I with Traquan, like the only way he's over 1,000 yards is if the Saints have a myriad of injuries and the offense is like they're so banged up that it's just like Sean Payton throws up his hands and says, just throw it to Traquan and hope for the best. Like Traquan is a 1,000-yard receiver on a team with a losing record, in my opinion.
Yeah, they'd have to throw the ball so much. Jameis would have to have 5,000 yards, and that's bad. Here's the thing I'll say about Davenport. I am 100% write it in ink. If they don't pick up his option, he's getting double-digit sacks, and I don't care if that dude has 20 sacks. The Saints should let him walk. You do not pay that dude huge pass rusher money because he has shown he gets injured all the time. Now, he's going to have one awesome season. Hopefully it's with the Saints this year, but maybe it'll be with the team next year or whatever. He's going to have 1 year where he puts it all together and he's healthy and he's amazing. Andrew, I would not pay that dude long-term. No way. Just let him walk, take your comp pick, and say thank you. You didn't do enough. You weren't quite a bust, but you were disappointed.
But if he's healthy, double-digit sacks is totally within reach for him, I think.
Completely.
Yeah.
He could be healthy. He could be like 15, 16 sacks.
Yeah.
Like that's
like Traquan ain't getting 1,000 yards.
No.
Yeah.
What next?
Next question is from LD. What linebacker on another roster could the Saints go after and trade for like they've done with Quan and Davis?
That one's hard to answer right now because, I mean, Quan, well, first of all, Demario Davis is a free agent, but with Quan, they were in a situation where the 49ers were so banged up and they were starting to play younger players. They knew they weren't going to make the playoffs last year, and they were like, let's get Quan Alexander. By the time Quan Alexander was coming back from injury, they had some young players they liked, and they're like, yeah, we're not going to start him, so let's ship him out. So that's tough because you got to wait and see which teams are not as good as you thought they might be, where they might unload some veteran talent. That's how the Saints got Janoris Jenkins, too.
And you have to see where teams in training camp where they might have a veteran guy who used to be good and now he's kind of average or he's average to above average, and they're like, hey, we got this younger guy, we'll trade you this linebacker. Team, like a linebacker is one of those positions you can always go and get it. Remember when the plague hit the Saints linebacking core, I want to say in like 2015, and they got they got Paris Harrelson like the week before the season started because literally all their linebackers had the plague, So like linebacker, it's a good question. I just don't know the other team roster, but it's a great question. They can go get like linebacker doesn't so much worry me because that's a position like guard. You can go and get one.
What next?
The next question from Twitter from Alfredo. I'm gonna go full Ralph on this question. Mark my words. Who do you want to direct the movie version of this upcoming Saints season? Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, or M. Night Shyamalan? I don't know. How do you pronounce it? Shyamalan? Okay.
Shyamalan ding dong.
Shyamalan.
You don't want Quentin Tarantino because his movies are violent and bloody and have weird
and overrated. Yeah.
You don't want him.
So the Saints would be overrated. Half the roster would be injured, broken, or worse, right?
I think you want. I
Arrested.
think you want Spielberg.
I think you want Shyamalan. Because
okay.
of the plot twists.
Oh yeah.
I do like.
No, I would say you want Spielberg because Spielberg knows how to make popcorn, big budget movies that people love, and we want a happy ending.
That's right. Yeah.
I would say Spielberg.
Give me I'm cool with generic as long as it ends happy.
Yeah.
What next?
And next question, also from Twitter, from AJ Leon. On a scale of 0 to Ditka, how Saintsy would it be for the Saints to draft a no-name O-lineman and he becomes an All-Pro?
Andrew?
Well, I mean, on a scale from 0 to Ditka, I'll go with Hazlitt. No, but
Dave.
that would be very Saintsy. But I think the part you're missing here is that they draft a no-name offensive lineman and he's not an All-Pro. He's just like, kind of garden variety, okay, like Chris Naoli.
The most Saintsy Ditka thing to happen would be Thomas, do you have the chime ready? Fire up the chime. The chime hits, and it's the Saints picking at 11, and they're grabbing Josh Fields, and they trade away like the 2022 first, the 2022 second, like a third, like
and
that.
He sucks.
Yeah, like that's Ditka. Like that's the most Ditka Saintsy thing you can do is go get a quarterback who ends up being terrible, or it would be like. Ditka believed in Heath Schuler in a way that no one on earth believed in Heath Schuler. Heath Schuler didn't even believe in Heath Schuler as much as Ditka did. So that would be a case of like Sean Payton getting a quarterback that's like really weird.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Everyone got worked up about Ricky Williams, but Ditka did a decent job building that roster, and Ricky Williams was okay. It was the quarterback. They were really a problem that whole time. And so the Schuler mistake, drafting Danny Werfel, the Billy Joes, like to me, those were the mistakes that sunk Ditka more than anything else, honestly.
The one thing about Ditka
Kerry Collins.
The one thing about Ditka that I'll never understand is how he didn't fall in love with Jake Plummer, the quarterback for Arizona State, and he was the quarterback for Arizona and Denver. And he ended up not being like great, but he was like gutsy, scrambled, did all kinds. I never for the life of me understand like why Ditka didn't fall in love with that guy. And that guy probably would have got Ditka to 9-7, 10-6. And then the whole history of the Saints is different. But that's like a drunk Saints history what if podcast. What if the Saints had drafted Jake Plummer? So Thomas.
What next?
Next question from Lotus Transport LLC.
Former sponsor of the podcast. We love them. They were great to us back in the day. We love those guys.
We invite them to sponsor us again, right?
Exactly.
For Brandon Cooks in 2014, Saints gave up third-round pick to move from 27 to 20. Would you prefer a similar move this year for Greg Newsome or stay put for Terrace Marshall?
Well, I think we already answered that question with our mock draft. But yeah, look, I love Terrace Marshall, total homer. You can play the Go Tigers Orgeron clip, but
Go Tigers.
I'm all in on Newsome, and look, forget Newsome, just the person, the player, all that. Like there's a lot of reasons to do that. He fits the Saints, I think, but beyond that, the Saints need a corner so freaking bad.
Here's the problem. The reason why I picked Miami at 18 is if you look at the teams directly behind Miami, they need a corner. So Miami's like really, to me, Andrew, when you look at the landing spot, like it's really kind of the only one. The rest of those teams, they really need corners, and they're gonna be like, screw you, Saints, we're just gonna take him, right? So I look at the draft there. To me, because teams are so desperate for corner, I don't necessarily see another landing spot for the Saints to trade up. It could be very, very difficult or very, very expensive. I expected, to me, if they could get from 28 to 20 or 21 and still get Newsome and only burn a third, like I'd do that in a heartbeat. I just think it's going to cost you. I think it's going to cost you multiple picks.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, I mean, obviously 27 to 20 with a third round pick. I mean, if that's all it takes, that would be amazing. Yeah, we'll see.
All right.
What next?
Last minute question from Saints Rabbit, Ralph. Is Tomas really just Ralph's alter ego in Poland? Really? And is Poland really just Poland Avenue? Can you all talk simultaneously to prove me wrong?
Thomas, these people don't believe you're really in Poland. Explain to them that you are.
They are non-believers.
They are.
They believe in God, but they don't believe in me?
They both talked simultaneously just then, so Jed, that should hopefully...
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Jed. Do you really believe that I am capable of running the live stream like Thomas does?
No.
I mean, come on.
Or that Ralph has the capability of speaking in a Polish accent that flawlessly? No.
Yeah, and running the show, and doing graphic, and having moving draft. No, that's not possible. I can barely get my own computer started.
I gotta say, I really love Malf Ralbro, the account the spoof account of Ralph that's out there on Twitter, and it's gotten in my head because now I find myself just accusing everyone of it. Like I'm like, could you be Ralph? Could you be Malf? And so. Yeah. I kind of had it in my head for a minute that Thomas might be that guy, but now I think that person lives in New Orleans. So I don't want to find out. Like I like the mystery that
people think think it's me, and they think Dave made up the bit about the person seeing him. But like I have a hard and fast rule in my life: no burner Twitter accounts, because we know my struggles with technology. The last thing I want to do is tweet something out from my burner, and I think it's my burner, but it's really not. No burner accounts for me. Sorry.
Ralph, I don't have the obsession about the Yeti mic like you do.
That's true.
Maybe he is your alter ego. Do you have a good arm? Do you have two good arms, Thomas?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, to have two good arms.
That sells it.
Life of luxury. The luxury.
You can even say Ralph, three good arms, you know.
Ralph,
if you know what I mean.
Ralph, if I told you could have two good arms, but you have to live in Poland, what do you say?
You say no.
I probably not. I'm
it's
like
so
I used
fucking
to be
cold in here.
Are you in Warsaw?
No, not far.
He's in some.
No.
I shipped him a box. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that city or street name.
Like my
let's
city.
Let's do it.
It's super hard to pronounce.
Pronounce it, Ralph. Pronounce it. Let's see how close you get.
I forgot it. I don't know. It was like it was so many vowels and whatnot.
Can you flash it across the screen, Thomas, the name of your city, and let's see if Ralph can pronounce it correctly?
Wait a second.
Let me see.
I mean, we didn't give the people what they wanted, which was unpronounceable names in the mock draft, so I feel like we should at least make Ralph say the name of a city in Poland. It's only fair.
Jesus, it was my wife was like, wow, that's a difficult name. I hope you get knowing the U.S. Postal Service, Thomas. You can expect that package by week 6 of the 2021.
Okay, check it out.
Oh my God!
All right, what you got, Ralph?
Garzusko Kamiana? God damn!
Is that really the city you live in, Thomas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
That city.
So welcome to Poland.
How close was he?
You want me to pronounce it?
Yes. Yeah, let's hear it.
Skarżysko Kamienna. now you try it. Andrew.
I wasn't even.
I
wasn't even on the same
Skarżysko
planet as that.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Better than Ralph.
So fire up the music so we can get out of here, Thomas. I want to tell everybody, listen, if you are a patron, we are doing a special Zoom call draft night for patrons only. If you're not a patron, become a freaking patron. We're the best Saints podcast on earth. We had Zoltan and Barry and Joanna and a bunch of other people sign up to become patrons. We're the best Saints podcast on freaking earth. Your support allows us to have Thomas running the show flawlessly. So for Dave, who the internet went to shit, for Kevin, who's MIA, for Andrew, remember, kids, don't shoot your dick off. I'm Ralph. Until next week, the bar is closed.